Hey there guys, the second round of the Pokemon tournament is over, has been over for a number of days now. And I finally took a look at all the videos, compiled the statistics, and I'm going to present you with the Pokemon usage statistics for the second round of the tournament. So, first we're going to take a look at all the Pokemon that were used only once. Now you might want to turn the video to full screen for this, because it might be hard to see all of them. Anyway, let's see if I can figure out which ones are in the picture. Starting from the bottom, I see Shuckle, Clefable, Darmanitan, Roserade, Magmortar, Chansey, Mr. Mime of all things, Keldeo, Exploud, Politoed, Toxicroak, Smeargle, Avalugg, Swampert, Vaporeon, Drapion, Furfrou, Snorlax, Feraligatr, Aggron, Conkeldurr, Raikou, Tangrowth, Gallade, Garchomp, Weavile, Haxorus, Mega Gardevoir, Tyranitar, Mega Ampharos, Mega Heracross, Refrigerator Rotom, Dusclops, Black Kyurem, Diggersby, Alakazam, Gyarados, Mega Gyarados, Mandibuzz, Skarmory, Mega Pinsir, Speed Deoxys, Zapdos, Porygon 2, Porygon Z. It's really tiny, up there in the middle, Klefki, Mega Absol, Ambipom, Swoobat, Reuniclus, Gligar, Dusknoir, Florges, Thundurus, and Vivillon. So that's a fairly diverse assortment of Pokemon. I would say some of these make sense that they're only used once. Not all of them though, because there are some pretty good Pokemon in here that were surprisingly underused, like Garchomp. Only one Garchomp. And regular Tyranitar, and Skarmory, and well, I guess the rest, for the rest it makes some sense. Chansey's also pretty good. But yeah, so these are all the Pokemon that were used once. It's by far the biggest group. Let's go take a look at all the Pokemon that were used twice. So here's all the Pokemon that were used twice. Blissey, both Mega Charizards, Mega Manectric, Umbreon, Breloom, Lapras, Excadrill, Salamence, Heatran, Infernape, Arcanine, Jolteon, Metagross, Chestnut, Starmie, Jellicent, Mienshao, Hitmontop, Togekiss, Braviary, and Wash Machine Rotom. So, nothing, well I guess all of these make sense somewhat. I don't understand how the hell Lapras was used twice. Lapras is horrible. Stuff like Arcanine, Braviary, Chestnut, that's also kinda iffy. But the rest, no, the rest makes sense. The rest are all perfectly serviceable Pokemon in their own right. Now let's go take a look at the ones that were used 3 times. The Pokemon that were used 3 times are Galvantula, Donphan, Azumarill, Noivern, Espeon, Mega Mawile, Goodra, Cloyster, Gengar, Mega Scizor, Chandelure, Talonflame, Mew, Latias, and Gliscor. Most of these I can understand. Most of them are probably among the best Pokemon in the game, the best non-legendary Uber stuff. Some of them, though, well, I guess Latias kinda makes sense, it's pretty decent, but Latias is used 3 times and Latios is used not at all. I find that to be pretty weird. Especially considering Noivern, of all things, is used 3 times. How the hell is Noivern used more than Salamence? And Garchomp? And Haxorus? And pretty much every dragon Pokemon that's way better than Noivern is. But yeah, most of these... I'm also kind of surprised by Chandelure. I thought Chandelure had kind of fallen off the whole bandwagon. But nope, apparently people are still using it. But yeah, most other stuff makes total sense. I mean, Gliscor is horrible to have to deal with. Mega Scizor, Mega Mawile are probably among the better Mega Pokemon in the game. Galvantula's solely there for Sticky Web. Because I do believe Galvantula is the best Pokemon that can learn Sticky Web. Goodra is pretty damn awesome. Gengar is always good. Talonflame with that priority Brave Bird. Mew with that versatility. Azumarill with that huge power. And that Aqua Jet, it's just really good. Espeon is really only there for Magic Bounce because it's not that good apart from that. And I don't really get why Donphan is used so much. If I recall correctly, Donphan was among the most used Pokemon in the first round as well. What does Donphan have going for him all of a sudden? I mean, I don't think he really got that many new tools in X and Y. Whatever, I like Donphan, so I'm cool with it. So let's take a look at the Pokemon that were used 4 times. As you can see, it's pretty much starting to narrow down right by now. These 3 are the only Pokemon that were used 4 times: Dragonite, Mega Venusaur, and Volcarona. All of which are understandable. I mean, Dragonite is pretty damn potent, Volcarona is near unstoppable if it gets a few Quiver Dances up. And Mega Venusaur, well, that's probably the one out of these 3 that I understand the least. I mean, sure, it's a pretty decent wall and everything, but it's not nearly as versatile or good as some of the other Megas. Hell, I'm quite surprised that Mega Venusaur ended up being the 2nd most used Mega Pokemon. There's only one Mega Pokemon that was used more than Mega Venusaur, and I think people can guess which one it is based on the ones that they've seen already. It's not Mawile, it's not Scizor, it's neither of the Charizards, it's not Garchomp. So which one could it be? Well, we'll see that sometime later, but first we'll take a look at the Pokemon that were used 5 times. The group's narrowing down even further. The only 2 Pokemon that were used 5 times are Greninja and Ferrothorn. And both make absolute complete sense to me because Ferrothorn is one of the best walls in the game and Greninja is probably one of the best special attackers in the game. And it's also fairly versatile. I recall someone also using it to set up spikes, among other things. And I think someone was using it as a taunter as well. So Greninja, it's fast, it's pretty powerful, it's plenty versatile, and Ferrothorn is one of the best walls in the game. But they were not the most used Pokemon, which kind of came as a surprise to me because Greninja was by far the most used Pokemon in the first round, by a sizable margin. So which Pokemon could top Greninja and Ferrothorn? Well, used 6 times, were these. Aegislash and Mega Tyranitar both were used 6 times, making both of these the most common Pokemon in the second round of the tournament. And let's face it, Aegislash is just insanely powerful. And Mega Tyranitar, well, if you've seen some of my own battles on my Pokemon channel, which is linked in the description by the way if you still haven't subscribed to it yet for whatever reason, Mega Tyranitar is pretty damn devastating if it manages to set up on you. Dragon Dance, Rock Polish, it can set up a lot of stuff and then just sweep teams with it. So, perfectly understandable that both of these are the most used Pokemon in the second round in my opinion. Now we're going to look at some interesting tidbits that I jotted down real quick. Some things that kind of interested me regarding the usage of certain Pokemon and whatnot. So what stood out most to me as far as increases in usage go, there weren't all that many interesting increases in usage. Really, the only ones that stood out to me were Mega Venusaur and Mega Tyranitar. Let me just pull up the numbers of the first round here. Mega Tyranitar was used 4 times, and Mega Venusaur was used 2 times. That increased in the second round to 6 for Mega Tyranitar and 4 for Mega Venusaur. You'd think, oh, it's only an increase of 2 each. But consider that the number of entrants and the number of Pokemon in the second round is half as big as in this first round. So, percentage-wise, their usage increased by a sizable margin. Especially considering that such Mega Pokemon as Mega Medicham and Mega Garchomp and Mega Blastoise, Aggron, Aerodactyl, and Alakazam were all at least used once in the first round and absolutely absent in the second round. So, the diversity of Mega Pokemon has decreased pretty much. So, really the only Mega Pokemon in the second round were Absol, Ampharos, which wasn't even in the first round for some reason. Both Mega Charizards, Mega Gardevoir, Gyarados, Heracross, Manectric, Mawile, Pinsir, Scizor, Tyranitar, and Venusaur. So yeah, those were really the only two interesting increases. There were a fair amount of notable decreases in usage. I mentioned it a moment ago, but Mega Alakazam was used 4 times in the first round. Not a single time in the second round. And regular Alakazam decreased from 3 uses to 1. So people just, either everyone who used a Mega Alakazam was eliminated in the first round, or people just figured, it might not be as good as I thought it was, so let's go and use something else. Or at least, let's go and use a better Mega Pokemon, because I believe, as far as general opinions go, Mega Alakazam is one of the worst Mega Pokemon there is. Or, well, perhaps not the worst, but in terms of how much it improves over the regular version. Mega Blastoise is also a large, absent one. Used 3 times in the first round, completely absent in the second round. Regular Blastoise was nowhere to be found in both rounds, so that's not a problem, but what happened to Mega Blastoise? I mean, he's a pretty decent rapid spinner, and he hits pretty hard, so why are people not using him anymore? Or perhaps, again, all the Mega Blastoise users were eliminated in the first round. Also, something that interested me pretty much, the use of both Mega Charizards. Mega Charizard X was one of the most common Pokemon in the first round, he used 7 times. Mega Charizard Y was used 4 times in the first round, also fairly common. Both were only used twice in the second round. So that's quite surprising. Especially because both Mega Charizards are pretty damn good. So I kinda wonder what caused their usage to plummet. I mean, there aren't really any Pokemon that do their jobs better than they do. So I'm quite surprised by that. Maybe everyone who used one of those has again been eliminated, or they swapped to Mega Tyranitar or something. Would explain the increase in Mega Tyranitars at least. Let's see, pull up the list. Ah yes, Garchomp. Used 6 times in round 1. Used only once in round 2. And no Mega Garchomps in round 2 either. So Garchomp took a pretty serious hit. It's quite weird. Mega Charizard takes a hit, Garchomp takes a huge hit. Haxorus also went from 4 to 1. Salamence also decreased by a sizable margin, I believe, from 7 to 2. So the amount of Dragon Pokemon in the second round was much smaller than in the first round. And I don't even believe the amount of Fairies increased that much. So it's weird. People just haven't been using the Dragon Pokemon or all that much anymore. Another one that is notoriously absent in the second round is Landorus's Therian form, which was used 4 times in the first round and not a single time in the second round. Which quite surprises me, because I believe that Therian Landorus is one of the best Pokemon in OU or something. It's got great attack, it's pretty damn bulky, it's got Intimidate, it's got U-turn, it can set up Stealth Rocks, it's pretty damn good. Which is why it was that common in round 1. So what did people replace it with in the second round? Perhaps Mega Manectric or something. Has Volt Switch, Intimidate, it can kinda do the same thing. And let's see, Mega Manectric did go from 1 in the first round to 2 in the second round, so perhaps. It's a theory. Let's see, Mamoswine. Also notably absent in the second round, where it was used 3 times in the first round. I mean, Mamoswine's a pretty great lead, so I don't really know what happened there. I did kinda see a bit of an increase in the use of Sticky Web over Stealth Rock in the second round, though. So maybe that's why people were going with Galvantula more over Mamoswine. Let's see, Mamoswine was covered. Mega Mawile also stood out from the crowd pretty bigly in the first round, used 7 times, only used 3 times in the second round. Which still makes it one of the more prevalent Mega Pokemon, but still that's a fairly sizable decrease. Perhaps all the people just went to Mega Tyranitar again, or Mega Venusaur for some reason. Maybe they noticed that their teams were a bit lacking on the defensive side, and they all switched to Mega Venusaur. Another big decrease is Wash Rotom, going from 7 usages to 2. I thought Wash Rotom was supposed to be one of the best Pokemon in the game, so I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Scizor also took a huge hit, both the regular one, well the Mega one not so much. Mega Scizor went from 5 to 3, but regular Scizor went from 5 to 0. So I kinda wonder what happened there. Lastly, Sylveon. You'd think with all the decreases in dragons in the second round, oh surely it must be because there's more fairies around. Not at all. Sylveon, one of the best fairy Pokemon there is, was used 4 times in round 1 and not a single time in round 2. Let's see, which fairies were used in round 2 then? I see a Klefki, I see some Mega Mawile, a Mr. Mime for some reason, Togekiss, not that often though, Florges, there's really not all that many fairies. I see a Clefable, I see an Azumarill. That's pretty much it. Mega Gardevoir also, I suppose. So, overall, I would say the variety of Pokemon still definitely surprised me. Considering that there's about half as many Pokemon in the second round as there are in the first round, the diversity has not really decreased all that much. I'd say if I put the lists right next to each other, they're probably... I'd say the second round list is probably about 2/3 the size of the first round list, so that's not bad at all. I'm kinda curious as to how the Pokemon diversity is going to be in the third round, so everyone do your third round battles and get back to me so we can make that stuff happen. Though I might be a bit delayed on that because I am leaving for a bit of a vacation tomorrow. Going to be gone for a good 5 days or so. Gonna be back on Tuesday next week. Going to SGC in Dallas, Texas. Figured, hey, I got free tickets through my YouTube partnership, so well, why the hell not? I haven't been on vacation in 4 years, so let's treat myself for once. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time after my vacation. Bye-bye.